Section 9.3, Standard Deviation. Suppose that Joe has the following test scores: 60, 68, 69, 78, 90, and 95, and 100. And Sammy has the score 78, 78, 79, 79, 82, 82, and 82. So we're going to calculate Joe's mean test score. So I'm just going to add those numbers together and divide by 7, because there are 7 test scores. So let's add those up. So that's 560. Divide that by 7. So his mean, or his average, is 80. So let's calculate Sammy's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 again. Let's add up Sammy's scores. Oh, 560. So again, 80. So what did you notice about Joe's scores compared to Sammy's scores? They both have the same test average, but their scores tell a very different story. We notice that Joe's scores are much more spread out. Okay, he starts pretty low and then gets pretty high. Sammy, on the other hand, stays pretty consistently right, a little bit below, a little bit above 80. So sometimes just measuring the average isn't going to give us enough information about what the data points are telling us. So one measure that we use to see how spread out scores are is called the standard deviation. We use this is a lowercase sigma in the Greek alphabet. So sigma x is what we're going to be looking for. So again, our standard deviation is how spread out the data is. It's also called a measure of distribution. Okay. So it says the graphing calculator, of course, is a very handy tool when we're dealing with statistics. And instead of having to find this the longhand way, we're going to teach you how to use it on a graphing calculator. So this gives you the step-by-steps for our TI-84 Plus. You may be able to figure this out on other graphing calculators or graphing calculator apps. And I'm sure each of your teachers would be happy to help you to try and figure that out. But we are going to show you on the TI-84 Plus. So what we're going to do is you would enter in all these different data points. And we're going to, so here it just gives you the step-by-step of how to enter those. And you're going to calculate your one variable statistics. Okay, what we're looking for is our mean, because we want to know, the standard deviation tells us basically how far away from the mean the average data point is. So again, we want to calculate one variable statistics, and then we'll need the mean, and this is our standard deviation. Okay, so we need the mean, and this is our standard deviation. Okay, so if we look back on the other page, it talked about Bob. Okay, so this shows Bob scored his scores in a season. So it asks, what is the mean of Bob's points scored? So on average, he scored 10.4 points. Then the standard deviation, we can round to the nearest tenth, is fine, 2.4. So what does the standard deviation tell us about his data? Well, it tells us that most of the time, or that most of the data are within 2.4 points of 10.4. So if we go back and we look at his scores, that seems pretty reasonable, right? We don't have a lot of scores going much above 12, and we don't have very many going below about 8. Okay, so pretty straightforward. The bigger the standard deviation, the more spread out those data points are. So here it says the maximum speed limit in miles per hour for some interstate highways are given in the table below. So what is the mean speed limit? So in order to find that, we've got to enter our data. So we're going to go into our statistics spot. We want to enter and edit a list. So we hit stat, edit. We're going to clear out the list that's in there. Remember to hit clear, not delete. And we're going to enter our speed limits. So 70, 55. Okay, then we go to stat. We want to calculate our one variable statistics, and we just hit enter, and it's going to bring up everything. So the numbers that we're looking for, so our mean is that first number, the X with the hat, 67.75. And then what is the standard deviation? So the standard deviation is right here, 4.6. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that most speed limits are within 4.6 miles per hour of 67.75 miles per hour. Okay, which you look at the data, pretty close between, just above 60 miles an hour and just below 75.